Bhagavatam. You are the one who comes from Sri Radha from Bangalore. How is everybody there? Anupul Prabhu, Sudhir Chaitanya Prabhu. कौन सा चैप्टर चल रहा है अपना? What is the shloka? What is the shloka number?
5, Prabhuji.
5. Thank you. Oh. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Narayanam Namaskritya.
Narayanam Namaskritya.
Naram Chaiva Narottamam.
Naram Chaiva Narottamam.
Devim Sarasatim Vyasam.
Devim Sarasatim Vyasam.
Tato Jayamudhiraye.
Tato Jayamudhiraye.
Nashta Prayasha Badreshu.
Nashta Prayasha Badreshu.
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya.
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya.
Bhagavati Uttama Shloke.
Bhagavati Uttama Shloke.
Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki. Ye tu tvadiya charanam mujagosha gandham.
Ye tu tvadiya charanam mujagosha gandham.
Jikranti vivarai shrutavata nitam.
Jikranti
karna vivareha shruti vatanitam.
Bhaktya grihita charana paraya cha tesham.
Bhaktya grihata charana paracha tesham.
Naipaisinata hridayam muraha sapumsam.
Napaishanata hrudayam bruhata svapumsham.
Yastu tvadiya charanam mujagosha gandham. Jigranti karna vivarai shrutavata nitam. Bhaktya grihita charana paraya cha tesham. Napaisinata hridayam muruha swapumsam. Ye tu tvadiya charanam mujagosha gandham. Jikranti karna vivarai shrutavata nitam. Bhaktya grihita charana paraya cha tesham. Naipasinata hridayam muruha swapumsam. Ye tu tvadiya charanam mujagosha gandham. Jikranti karna vivarai shrutavata nitam. Bhaktya grihita charana paraya cha tesham. Naipaisinata hridayam muruha swapumsam. Ye tu tvadiya charanam mujagosha gandham. Jikranti karna vivarai shrutavata nitam. Bhaktya grihita charana paraya cha tesham. Naipaisināta hridayam muruha swapumsam.
ये तो त्वदीय चरणाम्बुज कोशगन्धम्
ये तो त्वदीय चरणाम्बुज कोशगन्धम्
जिघ्रन्ति कर्णा Vivarai Sutivatanitam.
Jigranchikaranam
Pratyagrita Charana Paraya Chatecham.
Navacyagrihitaranam
Napaishinata Hidayamurita Sapumsam.
Napaishinata hridayam gurhasa svabhutam
Yeto tvadiya charanam bhujako sagandam
Yeto kariya charanam bhajakosagandam
Jigranti karna vivarai sutivatanitam
Jigranchikaranam
Bhaktyagrahita charana paryachatesham
Bhaktyagita parayasatesham
Napeshinata hridayam burhata swaputam
Napaishinata hridayam gurhasa svabhutam Yeto kariya charanam bhajakosagandam
Yeto tvadiya charanam bhujako sagandam
Jigranchikaranam vivarayashrutivadanitam
Jigranti karna vivarai sutivatanitam
Bhaktyagita parayasatesham
Bhaktyagrahita charana paryachatesham
Napaishinata hridayam gurhasa svabhutam
Napeshinata hridayam burhata swaputam. Yes, Prabhupada.
Yetu tvadiya charana bhujakosha gandham.
Yeto tvadiya charanam bhujako sagandam
Jigranti karana vivare sutivatanitam.
Jigranti karna vivarai sutivatanitam
Bhaktyagruhita charana parayachatesham.
Bhaktyagrahita charana paryachatesham
Napaishinata hridayam gurhasa svabhutam.
Napeshinata hridayam burhata
Svabhutam
Yea,
Yea.
those who
Those who
to but
but
Tvadiya your Charana Ambuja
Ambuja,
lotus feet
lotus feet,
Kosha inside
Gandham,
Gandham flavor
flavor,
Jigranti smell
smell,
Karna Vivarai
Karna Vivarai,
the channel of the ears
through the channel,
Shrutivadanitam
Prativadanitam,
carried by the air of the Vedic sound
by the Ayurvedic sound,
Bhaktya
Bhaktya,
by devotional
by
service
devotional service,
Grihita Charanaha
Charana,
accepting the lotus feet
accepting those
Paraya
Paraya,
transcendental
transcendental,
Cha also
also,
Tesham
Tesham,
for them
for them,
Na never
never,
Apaisi
Apaisi,
separate
separate,
Natha
Natha,
O my Lord Hridaya
Hridaya,
Ha
Heart,
Amburuha
Amburuha,
from the lotus of
lotus of
Sapumsa
Sapumsa,
your own devotees.
Spirit,
O my Lord, persons who smell the aroma of your lotus feet carried by the air of the Vedic sound through the whole of the ears, accept your devotional service. For them, you are never separated from the lotus of their heart. O my Lord,
Oh my Lord,
persons who smell
persons who smell
the aroma
the aroma
of your lotus feet
of your lotus feet,
carried by the air
carried by the air
of the Vedic sound
of Vedic sound,
through
through
the holes of the ears,
also
accept your devotional service.
accept the devotions.
For them,
For
we
them,
are never separated
you are never separated
from the lotus
from the lotus
of their heart.
of the heart.
Hare Krishna Ratnamala Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. For the pure devotee of the Lord, there is nothing beyond the lotus feet of the Lord. And the Lord knows that such devotees do not wish anything more than that. The word tu specifically establishes this fact. The Lord also does not wish to be separated from the lotus hearts of those pure devotees. That is the transcendental relationship between the pure devotees and the personality of Godhead. Because the Lord does not wish to separate himself from the hearts of such pure devotees, it is understood that they are specifically dearer than the impersonalists. The relationship of pure devotees with the Lord develops because of devotional service to the Lord on the authentic basis of Vedic authority. Such pure devotees are not mundane sentimentalists, but are factually realists because the activities are supported by the Vedic authorities who have given oral reception to the facts mentioned in the Vedic literatures. The word paraya is very significant. Para bhakti, or spontaneous love of God, is the basis of an intimate relationship with the Lord. The highest stage of relationship with the Lord can be attained simply by hearing about Him, His name, form, quality, etc., from authentic sources like Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, recited by pure, unalloyed devotees of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Himate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gaudavani Pracharine Nirvisheshaya Shunyavadi Pashad Deshatarine Jayo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So what do we understand here? Prabhupada says the devotion self sentiment is not a mundane sentiment. In this world, everything looks what it is not. You see, we are the body, but it's not true. We are not the body, we are spirit soul. This world looks to be a place of enjoyment. It's not a word of place. This world is a place of misery. You look at a body in the mirror, you look at the place, a body which will give me happiness. No, dangerous. This body is kind of a yatana sharira only. It's only a means to give you suffering. You look at the relationship with this world, we take them as permanent. They're not permanent. They're just formed at a particular day. We didn't know each other, suddenly become husband and wife, and one time it will be separated. It's a temporary relationship, but it looks very permanent. We want to make our house, we think we are making a permanent house, a small time. So everything in this world looks what it is not. Look at the body as eternal. It's not eternal body, it's just a packet of stool and urine. Look at the body full of Sachidananda, it's not a body full of Sachidananda. It's a miserable piece. Asat, temporary, Achit, full of ignorance, and Nirananda, full of suffering. So every way, this world is a Maya. We look what it is not. Even in Krishna consciousness, most of the people think Krishna consciousness is some mundane, emotional, mental sentiment. Somebody was telling me, if you are after knowledge, you become Jnana Yogi. If you are after hard work, you become Karma Yogi. And if you are emotional, you become Bhakti Yogi. This is what the society generally feels. Isn't it true? Bhakti Yogi means something sentimental. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to Varanasi and he was doing huge Harinam every day with lakhs of people. So the Mayavadi scholars there, so-called Vedantists, they started criticizing Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They say he looks to be a bhavuka. They use the word bhavuka, mundane sentimentalist. And some of the disciples of Sri Chaitanya felt very hurt hearing such words. And the leader of the team, Prakashananda Saraswati, was feeling very like that. He was insulting Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Hare Krishna. Just let me see my voices. No, that's the case. This should be near. So disturbance. Therefore, I keep the disturbance. No, it should be here. Now just fix the camera. Yeah, that's the best. So that is the reason So he was making fun. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also ignored because devotee doesn't feel hurt when he's criticized. No, it's okay. no problem. And she just smiled. And Chaitanya went to Vrindavan, enjoyed being in Vrindavan. And it said Chaitanya happiness increased 1,000 times when he reached Vrindavan, million times. Bhagavatam keeps describing. He was in ecstasy in Vrindavan, enjoying staying in various places. When you go to Vrindavan, you go to the place Imli Tala. Well, when Radharani used to feel separation from Krishna, she used to go to one place called Imli Tala. Same place Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the mood of Radharani used to visit that place. Anyway, he was having his pastimes and extreme ecstasy in Vrindavan. And then finally, he came back to Varanasi. When he came back there, some of his disciples, Chandrasekhar Acharya, Tapan Mishra, they were feeling great pain at the criticism going on Chaitanya Mahaprabhu by Prakashananda Saraswati and the gang. It's all bhavuka. The Chaitanya Mahaprabhu managed one pastime to save them from the pain. So suddenly what happened? One person came, a Brahmin came, said, can you come for having a lunch at my place? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu knew not only he had invited him, at his place are also the big Mayavadi scholars coming. He says, okay, I'm coming. He went there. And then now Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he went there, his pastime, he sat outside on the floor, on the ground, just like we have a washing area, he sat down there. The Prakashananda Saraswati did some devotion service now, some good quality. He got up, went, and brought Chaitanya Mahaprabhu inside. Please, don't sit like this. And he did devotion service. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was so effulgent. Looking at him, he was shining like sun. We're all looking at him. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they asked that you are doing Harinam, that's fine. But why you do not at the same time come and discuss philosophy with us, Vedanta? So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, my Guru Maharaj found me to be a great fool. So he said, you just chant Harinam. What philosophy you'll understand? So, when you take a humble role, people generally open up. So they opened up. Yes, that's very nice. They're very happy. Then after that was over, the conversation continued. They said, that's okay, that's fine. Nice to hear. You have a guru and he said like that, and you're following that. But still, sometimes you can come and discuss Vedanta. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, that's fine, but I don't agree to your Vedanta. What? I don't agree to your conclusions. So if you do not get offended, I can explain. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu now started explaining Vedanta in the light we study as Bhagavata. And they were totally wonderstruck and they became devotees. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu showing all the devotional ecstasy, therefore, it is not in the mood of sentiments. It is backed by knowledge, backed by philosophy. Therefore, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu made his Goswamis, the 6 disciples, when they went to Vrindavan, he gave them a brief, just like him. He gave them an assignment. Nana Shastra Vicharane ka Nipano Sadharma Sanstapakao. You're going to Vrindavan, but please establish Krishna consciousness based on the Shastra. Okay, we are chanting and dancing, and people would like to see where this is recommended. And Prabhupada says about the work of Goswamis, he says actually there is no parallel to the work of the Goswamis in any sampradaya. So much solid foundation is not there. Now we are reading book Nectar of Devotion for level 2 and 3. We're finding so sweet, that book is so sweet. And every line there is a quotation from Bhagavatam. It makes it so authentic. Everything is quoted. It feels so pleasant and blissful. The whole Krishna consciousness is so firmly established on the teachings of the scripture. It's not bhavuka. Bhavuka means you're just emotional and without any basis. True, we have emotions. We pray to Krishna. we surrender to Krishna. But these emotions are backed by Shastra, backed by the Acharyas, and following the footsteps of Krishna consciousness, they are not material sentiments, they are spiritual sentiments. I told you that example once. Devotees went to a city called Bhopal. So in the Bhopal, when they were doing program, the program was super success. Thousands of people came. All important leaders city came. Whole city was talking about it. So in the same city, there was a spiritual organization, some other nonsense organization. Khichdi Pichdi. No sampradaya, no philosophy, no conclusion, simply khichdi. And they got totally, envious and jealous and totally subdued. What? We are there so many and nobody listened to us. Here this person comes one day and whole city is talking about him. And they consider the nonsense philosophy also to be right, just like this Mayavadis. So they said, so we will also do Hare Krishna Kirtan in the same auditorium and call people. So somebody told Srila Prabhupada, they're also planning to do a similar program like ours. Prabhupada said, no use. They're wasting their time. Because my devotees are convinced of the purifying power of the holy name by their practice. Therefore, when they chant, the chanting is effective. Just like that you do Kirtan even though you don't believe in Krishna, just like you do Kirtan even though you do not have any faith in the holy name, because you never practice chanting, your mind is not purified by the chanting. What is the use of your doing? It is just Prabhupada says it will not have any effect. Prabhupada talks about when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu first time, rather the king Pratap Rudra was with Sarana Bhattacharya, and they were in the top of the temple, some at a very high place. And at that time, they saw all the devotees coming from Mayapur, from West Bengal. They used to come every year to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Advaita Acharya, and Nityananda Prabhu, and many great advanced devotees, Srivas Pandit. And these devotees were chanting and dancing in Harinam. And the king looked at it. He said, I've never heard ecstatic kirtan like that in my life. So Prabhupada commented that yes, because they are following principles, because they are aligned with the acharyas, that kirtan is ecstatic. It's not bhavuka. So similarly, Srila Prabhupada said, if you follow the rules and regulations, Sri Radha Govinda ki, if you follow the rules and regulations, your kirtan will also be effective. Sometimes to make a kirtan very nice, you think I should learn classical music. Don't waste your time and other people's time. Such jokers I have seen. Nobody can repeat them. What is the use? Prabhupada used to sing, people can repeat. We want to learn from Prabhupada. We are very special today. Nobody can repeat. They go waste their time learning classical or this, that, and taking all association of lower than third class people. And after that, demonstrate their singing ability for public. What is this nonsense? Sing simple. Bhajana is different from music. Don't make it a music festival. And bhajana is different. Correct? It is sung with heart for the Lord's pleasure, independence and surrender. That is the focus. So anyway, so here, the material sentiments and devotion service look same. There's a lot of differences. When Hiranyakashipu asked Prahlad Maharaj, who made you Krishna conscious? So Prahlad Maharaj says, Matarina Krishne Parato Satova Mito Pipadde Graha Vratana Adant Gobhi Vishitam Tamishram Puna Puna Charvita Charvanana. So he says, my dear father, you will not become Krishna conscious by others' effort, your effort, or combined effort. That's not going to happen. Why? Because your senses are totally uncontrolled. Adant Gobi, Vishitam Tamishram. You are entering into darkness and dancer. Puna Puna Charvita Charvanana. Your my dear father, unfortunately, you're chewing what you have chewed many times. So now the question comes, The question is very simple and obvious. The question is, why I'm bringing the shloka now? The reason is to create a spiritual vibration, either in the form of class or in the form of kirtan, which energizes a sleeping soul into Krishna consciousness. Person should be following rules and regulations. Otherwise, he is making sound, but the sound will not wake up the soul. Otherwise, either in the form of class or in the form of kirtan. Our focus should be purity. Correct? Our focus should not shift too much towards eloquent verses, towards speaking in a very, learning some, what do you say, oratory skills. Focus is on Krishna. These are the means, but the focus should not be lost. The problem is too much focus on the skills. You forget the purpose for which you are singing. You forget you are singing for the Lord's pleasure. There was once devotee asked Srila Prabhupada, we are going to do kirtan. He said, yes, wonderful. Prabhupada, how we should do kirtan? The whole audience becomes totally happy. What? We're not doing kirtan for public pleasure. Kirtan is done for the Lord's pleasure. Oh. So similarly, class is not given to impress people. Class is given to glorify the Lord. People like or not, that is not our business. We just repeat what Shastra says. People like, well and good. They don't accept it. That's their problem. But our business is to present it properly as per our capacity goes, and to present with a pure heart. To present with a pure heart, without any contamination, with the pure life. Those words will touch the heart of people and encourage them in Krishna consciousness. But if you do not do that, you try all other things, you become like Romaharshana Sutta. Romaharshana Sutta did not have Krishna consciousness in his heart, and he is doing everything else. Correct? There's so many, that it says, don't hear a kirtana from somebody who is not a devotee. What is the shloka? That is just like milk touched by the lips of the serpent. Shavanam naiva kartavyam sarpochishta payo rataha. So sarpochishta payo rataha. It's like a milk touched by the serpent. Shavanam naiva kartam. Don't hear. Avaishnava mukho gitam. From Avaishnava, don't hear anything. Correct? Why? Avaishnava mukho gita puta harikatamita. Oh, he's speaking harikatha. Sit down, sit down. Just like people do. Switch on TV and watch all the nonsense channels. Don't hear them, please. So many people, they learn a Mahabharata from TV. Yeah, very good. Then we have to spend hours and hours to solve their confusion which they created. They cannot contribute anything. Unless somebody is qualified, just look at the serial people. Instead of doing any good to the society, they rather confuse them. Better they would not have made a serial. There was no benefit for the society. There is no point in knowing mundane stories. They presented the whole Shastra as a mundane story, a Sasbo serial. Only benefit was confusing people. It's a very delicate subject matter, very advanced subject matter, not for dwelling from some commercial third-rate people. Correct? But somehow it is allowed and it is done. Correct? Now, the kind of money, 100 crore, 500 crore, our ISKCON movement doesn't have today. One day we have, we will make. But till that time, better don't make nonsense. People don't know, let them not know in a wrong way. If they can be told in a right way, tell, otherwise don't tell in a wrong way. Just like you're a doctor, you can give prescription. You are not doctor, don't give prescription. You may not help, rather harm the person. Correct? Wait for the doctor to come. Suppose somebody is very sick. Can you call a doctor? Better wait for the doctor to come. He will give the right prescription. You try your emergency, you create so-called emergency. There is no emergency sometimes. And you try your some nonsense medication, you will harm the patient. Similarly, the serial makers are exactly fools like that. They may be, okay, we do not have money to make a serial now. But you don't rush up and make a mess of the whole thing. That creates so much confusion in society. So for them, their presentation is not parodharma. In the scripture it is said, Krishna consciousness is parodharma. Maximum society can understand spiritual life as upadharma. Be nice, be good, some philanthropic activities. That's all they can understand. But Krishna consciousness is beyond all the material emotions. It is totally spiritual. Somebody asked Srila Prabhupada, can you explain ISKCON movement? Prabhupada is not easy to explain because it is thoroughly spiritual movement. Not easy for a mundane man to even understand the meaning of the word Krishna consciousness. It's very difficult. Okay? So it's very not easy to understand this process of Krishna consciousness. So we have to, therefore we tell people chant Hare Krishna. As we tell philosophy, but if the people do not chant Hare Krishna, they will never understand what we are talking. Okay? We always encourage them, chant Hare Krishna, read Srila Prabhupada books. Then we see that the person is waking up to Krishna consciousness and some understanding is developed. Okay? So these are all spiritual, esoteric sentiments. Okay? Person to smell the aroma of your lotus feet. These are all facts. Pure devotee does smell that and he feels ecstasy of that. And it's not a material sentiment. Bhava, bhavuka, it's not bhavuka. These are all spiritual sentiments. But Romashana Sutta kind of person cannot give it that. You have to hear from a devotee who actually wants to serve the Lord. Prabhupada says the words in the mouth of a pure devotee appear mundane, but they touch the saffron of the lotus feet of the Lord and can wake up a man who is not even a devotee till now into devotion service. So powerful they are. You see, Srila Prabhupada Kirtan, it is so simple, but it penetrates the heart, even a conditioned soul. And so sweet. I remember the first time when I heard Srila Prabhupada tape in my hostel. Same. It doesn't even change. For 1 hour, same. Then I got suspicious, Then I asked some devotees. They told me, yes, Prabhupada, even for 3-4 hours, just sing in the same way. He used to never change. If you see Leelamrita, if you have a Leelamrita, just type same tune. Just type it. You'll find throughout Leelamrita mentioned again and again, Srila Prabhupada used to always sing in the same tune. He had few simple tunes. Even Bhaktivinoda Thakur wrote against it. Don't sing this Bajari tunes, he said. Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Bajari uses the word market tunes. Sing simple tunes, which people can follow, people can understand, and then they can focus their mind on Krishna consciousness. Correct? But we want to make decoration everything except and lose the focus of devotion service. Okay? To smell the aroma of lotus feet, carried by the air of Vedic sound through the holes of the ears. So it appears material process, not like that. Krishna consciousness, when the vibration of glorification of Krishna, when it enters the heart of the devotee, it wakes up the devotee into devotion service. Just like Bhoga and Prasada, what's the difference? Both are food. One is offered as love, other is not offered as love. Similarly, Kirtan and music is the same thing. One is offered as love, one is just music. It doesn't do any benefit. For that moment, people feel very good. Just like this Bhagavad Sapta, same category. Bhagavad Sapta is very popular nowadays. But what is Bhagavad Sapta? Some useless fellow narrating the stories of the Lord in an attractive way. Any devotee can also, we can learn that. It sells very nicely. Then we are promoting, encouraging the nonsense Bhagavad Sapta, which Prabhupada is always against. How many times Prabhupada wrote against Bhagavad Sapta? How many times he wrote against it? That's a useless event just to entertain the public. They are not even fit. I can do in Mangalore also because it's not difficult. We can spend some days, organize our mind. They will tell some stories and people can come. But those people are not even fit to hear Gita. What about hearing Bhagavad? First, let them understand difference in body and spirit. They're not even fit to hear Bhagavad Gita. What they are hearing Bhagavad? Bhagavad is a very advanced scripture. Sometimes in the early areas when you're teaching Bhagavad, it's so difficult for people. Bhagavatam has concluded so many things are already in it. It's not for neophytes to hear Bhagavatam. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu first used to give Harina to public. When they're more serious, then he used to teach them Bhagavad Gita conclusion. When they're more serious, then he used to teach them Bhagavatam. And still they're more serious, then he used to tell them the advanced love of Radha Krishna. Correct? Which he did with the other 2-3 people only. Why not with everybody? The Bhagavad Sapta people generally share all. They make it Bhavuka. People also cry. They make you cry. Audience also cries, he also cries, he laughs, audience also laughs. And it's an emotional performance. Bhavuka, they are bhavuka. To rise on the platform of Krishna consciousness is not easy. Okay, so let us not encourage such things, which are all in the mundane perspective. It's a mundane, what is a mundane explanation, like TV serials only. More or less, they are TV serial people doing it another way. You go to Vrindavan, you see left, right, center. Bhagavad Saptas are going on in Kartik. Left, right, center. All loudspeakers. You walk one step, you hear one Bhagavad Sapta. Another step, another Bhagavad Sapta. Many times taken by Mayavadis. And it's a money-making business. So Prabhupada did not personally encourage. As I said, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Not 1 week. It is Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Bhagavati Uttama Shloke. Bhakti Bhavati Naishtaki. So always we have to hear Bhagavatam daily, repeatedly. And hear it in a mood of following Krishna, not of, I liked it very much. Sir, it was not made for your entertainment, this class. Our class is glorification of the Lord. And you have to hear, it's like a medicine. Gradually, as you keep hearing Bhagavatam, the love of Krishna will manifest in the heart. It's not for your entertainment. Okay, no, today I felt very nice. That's material scientific most of the time. We hear this all is for a purification and gradual purification as it keeps going on. Savai Pumsa Paro Dharma Yata Bhakti Yadokshite. So gradual purification as it goes on, then Shuddhya Satyam Brahma Saukyam to Anantam. And heart become purified by Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Neshtiki. The devotion to the Lord will manifest within the heart. So it says the Lord also does not wish to be separated from the lotus heart of his pure devotees. It's so, just like somebody was telling, when you take class for children, you don't like separation from them. They're so sweet. Similarly, Krishna loves his devotees. He doesn't like separation from them. He's so happy with them. So he also, devotees too, specifically is his path. The devotees know nothing except the Lord. And the Lord also is so attached to his sweet devotees. Okay? It's a transfer relationship. And this is not bhavuka. This is a more spiritual relationship. The Lord and the devotee's relationship is spiritual. The relationship of purity with the Lord develops because the devoted service to the Lord on the authentic basis of the Vedic authority. We're not whimsically doing something. On the authentic basis of Vedic authority. Such pure devotees are not mundane sentimentalists. No way. But are factual realists because the activity is supported by the Vedic authority. That's why Srila Prabhupada told the Goswamis to write voluminously and establish Krishna consciousness from the Shastra. The word paraya, therefore the word parabhakti, savai pumso, paro. Yato bhakti, savai pumso, paro bhakti, yata bhakti yadokshade. Okay? Savai pumsa, paro dharma. Yato bhakti yadokshade. So it's a transcendental activity for the pleasure of the Lord. Ahetuki apratihata yatma suprasiditi. It gives total pleasure to the heart when activity is done for the Lord's pleasure. So higher stage of relationship with the Lord can he attain simply by hearing about him. Many times people think we have to realize God by seeing. No. Vedic process is hearing. Follow the process. Don't imagine. Namanta eva. Become humble. Become humble. Give up their habit of jnane prayas udapasya namanta eva. Give up your attempt to understand God by your own process. Accept the God process. Just like you want to meet the Prime Minister, you have to accept his process. You cannot design your own process. No. I will be visiting that shop, that restaurant, and Mr. Prime Minister, please, can I expect you there? He will say, that's not the way. My secretary should tell you how you're going to meet him. I will not follow your process. Correct? So similarly, you want to meet Krishna, you have to follow Krishna's process. And that is clear about it, not seeing. In material mundane world, everything we know by seeing, primarily. I saw that. Spiritual domain, it's by hearing. And hearing is nowhere less than seeing. Rather, it's more effective process. To hear about the Lord from the authorities, then the relation to the Lord will be attained. Hearing, you will re-establish your lost relationship. Nitya Siddha Krishna Bhakta Sadhu Kapunaya Shavanadi Shuddha Chitta Kauraya Udaya. Just by hearing about the Lord, my eternal relation to the Lord will be established. Shavana Kara Udaya, we wake up. We are all devoted to Krishna, but somehow we are forgotten. Therefore, Prabhupada, what did he do? He made people hear. Okay, when they do for Harina, if possible, they carry a small picture of Krishna. May not be more than that. They just chant it. And people are hearing. The focus is on hearing. And as they hear the holy name of the Lord, they're hearing the devotional sentiment, not mundane sentiment, are revived. Because they're hearing Kirtana from the mouth of devotees. And then the spiritual love to Krishna awakens within them. Pure unalloyed devotees. Hare Krishna, everybody. Pancha kalpatarubhascha kripa sindhave evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebho namo namaha. Thank you, everybody. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
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 Hare Krishna
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna Prabhuji. Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Question. Sujata Mataji, you had a question?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. You were talking about the Paro Dharma. Can you tell me something more about it? Because I think Paro Dharma you were saying, no, Prabhuji.
Paro, that's why it is Paro.
Why?
It is Paro means that is totally spiritual.
If it is totally
Paro dharma yatha bhakti adhokshaje ahetuki apratihata yayatma suprasidati. Therefore, there are below paradharma all of cheating dharma. See, dharma means paro, no? Dharma means spiritual, transcendental. Anna?
okay. So the Krishna conscious spiritual dharma. Okay.
You are connecting to the Lord. It's
Okay.
totally beyond people's perception. What they're doing, There is God, where? Not seen. In Vaikuntha, where? Not seen. And still we are believing in that and trying to connect people to spiritual world, which they can't see and they can't understand. Correct? True?
Yes.
It's not easy work actually. But what people do, because this is difficult work, for them Krishna consciousness is some mundane, social welfare work. People do social welfare work sometimes. That is just to get broader acceptance in society. With the heart of the people. But our work is not that. Our work is Krishna consciousness.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Everybody, Hare Krishna.